2 years ago, the fire department, along with Public Works, specifically Robbie, sat down to address some issues that we found on maintenance and scheduled PMs that we were lacking, both from the Public Works side and the fire department side. And so in an effort to correct the items that were being missed and the scheduled maintenance that was being missed, we sat down with representatives from Pierce, fire apparatus manufacturer, E1, Public Works, and the fire department to kind of line out everything that we felt we needed to address in that session. This started 2 years ago. And with that, we were able to basically come up with a spreadsheet for every unit and figure out what the scheduled maintenance should be on a unit and how do we make sure that we're on task with it. And so this is kind of 2 years removed from that, of a change in how we do things from the daily and the weeklies, and then from some of the data management input we do on the forms at the end of your monthly. And so Robbie is going to walk you guys through a daily and a weekly, and then we'll address a few other things, and then July core, Buck will talk to you guys and take you through a PowerPoint. But the main focus of this is, with any vehicle, if you go out and buy a brand new car, you have scheduled maintenance at certain mileage intervals, and some of those intervals will be missed because each system on the truck has its own preventive maintenance schedule. The CAS system has its own, the aerial system has its own, and so we had systems within systems that were being overlooked. And so basically we were able to sit down with the manufacturers, and Robbie took the lead from Public Works and make a timetable and kind of schedule it with our PMs to make sure we're not missing anything. One of the items that was addressed though is that our dailies didn't exactly run the entire gamut of what we wanted to look at on a daily basis. And I know in talking to several people on shift and within the department that raising the cab and checking fluids on a daily basis is something that people have kind of looked at as maybe overkill or just too much. And while I understand that, Robbie and I have had several conversations about that, and we've compromised on some things and he's compromised on some things on his end, and it really is a collaborative effort on this. And as of right now, we're going to raise the cab and check the fluids on a daily basis, because when we go from Saturday to Saturday and we lose 2 gallons of antifreeze and can't figure out where it went, that's problematic for us. You know, we can cite several examples right now that are going on with the trucks that we are trying to work backwards to find a solution or find the problem, and we're trying to be more proactive on the preventive side to be able to track those items up front, and this will help us do that. One of the other things we brought in was the DOT daily inspection form that, you know, trucks running up and down the state have to use. We incorporated some of that into our daily check. That way, if something were to happen and we were to be in an accident or whatever, we can pull those records and make sure that we have checked what we need to check. Even though we are in exempt status, there are certain things that from the Public Works side and from the fire department side we have agreed that we would like to do. So that's how we got here. And so the feedback from you guys is definitely something that once we institute this, probably after July core is over, we'll probably start in August. We'll get new sheets out to everybody. Everyone will be familiar with the process. We'll want feedback from you guys. I'll get constant feedback from this guy, letting us know if we're hitting the mark, if we're missing the mark. And then kind of down the road, the other part of this is the software that hopefully we can catch up with that will be more informative, and much like when you do a facilities maintenance request, you get feedback. We're trying to identify a software program that will give us the ability. RTA does not have that ability right now, but if you submit a work order, there will be a feedback loop that you'll get either email back from me or the system will generate it from Robbie of what the progress is of that write-up that you have submitted. And so with that, I'll turn it over to Robbie and he'll walk you through a daily and a weekly, and I think we got some drivers that are going to participate. And if you have any questions, as always, give me a call or shoot me an email. Thank you.
Today we have engine 41. We're going to do a daily inspection on it. We have Jeff Bell's going to assist us today. First thing we're going to do is we're going to check the fuel level, DEF level, water level, and foam level. Go ahead and turn the ignition on. Your foam level and water level are at the top in the center. Okay. Both those are full. How about your DEF and fuel?
Yeah, 3/4 and almost full.
Okay. On your DEF, typically we don't do anything until about half tank. At this point of the inspection, we're going to have the cab raised. Make sure that you put the safety prop in, and before you do any of that, make sure that everything on the interior is secured. First thing we're going to look at is engine oil level. It's right here. And you'll wipe it off and stick it back in. Oil level's good. And then for the transmission level, you'd have the engine running for that. Dipstick is right here, same thing. Pull it out, wipe it off, stick it back in, check your level. Add fluid in both of these. Next thing is coolant level. There's a sight glass on the top of the radiator. Make sure that you can see the coolant level in that sight glass. Some trucks also have an overflow bottle. Make sure the overflow bottle is full. Okay. On this next section, we're going to be checking the coolant overflow jug level and also the power steering fluid reservoir level. Typically the level or the jug is clear. You can see how much is in there on the coolant. And then there's a dipstick on the reservoir for power steering. Good. On the daily check, you also want to do a lighting inspection. Just turn them on and do a quick walk around. We're going to take a look at the condition of the drive belts. Make sure there's no cuts, frays, anything loose and flopping around. The other thing while you're at this corner is this tube is for the air intake and the air filter. Make sure that it's secure, not broken, cracked, or anything like that. On the tire inspection section of this, we just basically want to do a visual inspection of both the sidewall and the tread area. You want to make sure that there's no cuts, scratches, any damaged areas on the whole tire that you can see. Checking for exhaust system leaks. Typically on the diesel engines, you'll see black soot from a leak area. This is covered up with a heat blanket. So at the front end or the back half where the two pieces meet, you'll actually see black soot marks on this area. And that goes the same way with the pipe that's underneath the truck, the muffler, any of that place underneath the truck. So just get on a creeper, roll around under there and look for that.
And one thing that's not on the list is, as a good driver, make sure that your water jug's full, topped off with ice and cold water. Nothing's worse than getting out of a hot situation, coming out and getting some warm water to drink.
The weekly inspection will consist of everything on your daily inspection plus what we're going to go over now. Initially, the first thing you're going to look over is the batteries. You want to look for any type of corrosion on the connections, loose connections. Also, you want to make sure that they're secure and that none of the batteries are leaking. Next section is going to be the puck pump oil level. There's a dipstick right down in there. Pull the dipstick off, wipe it off, reinstall it, check your level. Level's good. For units with gasoline generators, you want to check the engine oil level. And also the fuel tank level. Next thing is going to be fuel cans. Make sure that both gasoline and mixed fuel are full. On the steering system, basically you want to do a quick check of the tie rods and tie rod ends by grabbing onto them and just shaking them. Make sure there's no loose components. On the inspection of the leaf springs, you need to look for cracks or broken leaf springs. If they're broken, they could potentially fall out. This is on the front and rear both. While inspecting the drive shaft, the biggest thing you want to look for is anything that may be in contact with the drive shaft itself. Easiest way to tell is there will be a shiny mark. The paint will be removed from that area. On the cab tilt system, the biggest thing is you want to inspect the hydraulic lift cylinders for leaks and make sure that the pins are secure and not coming out. You also want to check the fluid level in the pump with the cab down. Similar to your daily lighting check, you also want to check your cabinet lights, scene lights, ground lights, basically every light on the truck. With the compartment door open indicator, you want to inspect to make sure that it's working on every door. While inspecting your air tanks, you want to do an external inspection looking for rusts or anything like that. If your vehicle has manual air tank drains, you want to drain all of the water out of those tanks. In addition to your weekly mechanical inspection, you also want to check your power tools for any damage. Make sure that they're running properly. Anything that you do find on your mechanical inspection, please let us know. Write it up, give me a call, send me an email, whatever you need to do.